Newly released body cam. First time we've ever seen this from Brandon Boudreaux as he was hiding out from his then wife, Melanie Boudreaux, now Pulowski. This is after he was shot at, which we can now say not allegedly, because Lori Vallow Daybell has been convicted of attempted murder in his case. Just the highlights, so you don't have to. It's wild. You'll definitely want to watch this one.
If you're new here, I'm Annette Lyon, USA Today best-selling author of the suspense novel Just One More and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also award-winning author, former editor, a whole bunch of other things. Here we discuss true crime often, but not always, where it intersects with religion. And then we have chocolate on the side because you gotta have something sweet in the middle of all the bitter. I have opinions. I rant. That's what we do here. We respect all faith traditions and those with no faith traditions. That includes my faith as well. A quick reminder to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel and helps other people find this kind of content who would be interested in it. Ready? Let's go.
Welcome back, Choco Crime Nerds. We are looking at the Brandon Boudreaux body cam footage. Let's start with when the police first showed up. Brandon had called them, but he wasn't at his parents' house. He had fled from Arizona up to Utah in American Fork. Seems like there's even a Ruby Frankie connection to American Fork. The Laffertys did their stuff in American Fork. It's a little disturbing. And it's near enough to where I live that I found the house on the way back from the hair salon the other day. So yep, that's where it was. Okay. Freaky. Anyway, we'll look at Brandon's mother, then what he says, and compare their stories to Melanie's behavior, which led then to her arrest, which we can then celebrate and hope that someday she'll be arrested for the attempted murder conspiracy, because we know that she had something to do with it, and there's an active, open investigation into her. So let's all hope. Anyway, this is Brandon's mother.
Saying nobody's seen or heard from them in a month. He's taken her out of school, which is true. That's what he's done. On advice of the police detective in Arizona and his lawyer. She has moved to Idaho without telling him.
They silenced the key part for privacy back in the day. But also keep in mind, she said that they know that his then wife, Melanie, had moved from Arizona to Rexburg, Idaho. Keep that in mind.
You know, you guys lived here.
We've lived here 17 years.
Okay.
They've been married for 11.
Did she get upset? Did she try to force
She was
her way
crying.
inside?
Yeah.
She was crying. That was it.
I
She
told
didn't do
her
anything threatening towards you or anything like that?
I told her I'd talk to her through the door, but I didn't want her to know the kids were here. So when one of the grandkids came down, I closed the door, and then I could hear her just yelling, and I think my son was talking through the ring doorbell. And she was just yelling, and kept ringing the doorbell, trying to get me to come answer the door and I'm going to come back.
She didn't try to open up the door?
I don't know if she did or not.
Like that. Do you know what she was yelling at? Was it like an angry yelling or just, yeah? But you can...
I went upstairs with the kids. I took them back up to the bedroom they were playing in and ignored the kept ringing the doorbell again. They're like, someone's at the door. And I just said no, because I don't want them to see their mom.
Isn't that just so sad? Brandon they have 4 kids. At the time, there were 2, 4, 6, and 9, 2 boys, 2 girls. And yeah, his mother was trying to take care of the kids, didn't want the kids to know their mother was outside and screaming and yelling at them. So essentially, Melanie came to the house during the day, banging on the door, trying to get in. And Brandon had set up a Ring doorbell camera. So he had it connected to his phone, but it wasn't connected to his mom's phone inside the house. And he wasn't home. We'll see in a minute where he was at this point. But when he realized it was Melanie and his mom had answered the door because she didn't know, then he started talking to Melanie through the camera on the phone. He called 911 and came back as quickly as he could. So then Brandon hurried home, and then this is him arriving.
It's okay. I just didn't want her to know the kids were here, and now she does. So.
And that broke my heart. I didn't want the kids to know she was here, and now they do. And the first thing he does is gives his mom a hug. And just look at how broken he looks in just a minute here. It just, breaks my heart.
My detective said he wants to talk to you guys.
The emotion, the exhaustion, the fear in Brandon's face and his voice and his mannerisms. It's palpable and it's heartbreaking. You can tell who's telling the truth in all this. Wait till I get to Melanie's part. It's the, but his mother she's trying to be a strong mom and she's trying to help her son, and his story and hers match up perfectly.
Somebody from your department, because we can't talk about a lot of the stuff that's going on in our case right now.
Okay.
So I'm supposed to be at my parents' house.
A detective, who's the detective?
Yeah, Gilbert Police Department.
In Gilbert?
Yeah, it's an attempted homicide there. Apparently, he's meeting with the FBI this week because there's 2 murders that they're also investigating, but all tied together.
Okay.
Tammy had passed away by this point, but at this point she hadn't been disinterred, given her autopsy. It was still considered natural causes at this point. So this is early November of 2019. So he was shot out a month ago. I'm assuming when he said they're looking into 2 murders with the FBI, it's Tylee and JJ.
So,
And he wants to talk to us?
he says, please give the police department my contact number. I don't want them to share too much, but I need them to understand this isn't a standard case, so I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk to him here after we're done here. We'll just...
Okay.
Can I get your first and last name, date of birth?
Brandon Boudreaux. B-O-U.
He's got it twice already.
Oh, okay.
I kind of laughed at that because that's our family too. We have a much shorter name than Boudreaux, but my kids learned from the day they were just little that how do you spell your last name? Or even just, you say, what's your name? It's Lyon, Lyon. And you emphasize Ly sometimes, not an I and no S, Lyon. So you can tell that she spelled it earlier and he's used to spelling it, and then they kind of get a chuckle off of that. I could relate. There's a next little clip also from Brandon. He's again explaining why he's so scared. And this is a piece of information that I did not know. Others may have, but it was news to me, even with how much I've been following this case since day one. And it was a little disturbing. Let's put it that way. I don't know if you caught it also in that last clip that the detectives in Arizona wanted to talk to the Utah police and make sure they knew this was not a static case, or there's something more going on. So the cops are being clued in. They don't know everything, but they're aware soon after daytime incident, they're aware that Charles was killed at minimum.
She's supposed to be living up in Idaho right now?
Yeah, she's up in Rexburg right now.
Okay, again, just catch that. She's up in Rexburg right now. They talked about the Gilbert police, and then she's in Arizona, from Arizona, and has moved to Rexburg, Idaho. So his mom has said that. He has said that. He's talked about the police in Gilbert. All of this is lining up.
She knew you were living here then, for some reason, or she just came by just to...
I don't know if she already knew, if someone told her. There are only a few people who know, but one of them might have felt bad because she's been on Facebook offering a $10,000 reward and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, wow.
So,
$10,000 reward to find Brandon? What innocent person does that? That's creepy. So only a few people knew where he was, and maybe one of them told her. So I have to wonder, someone in the Cox family perhaps may let it slip. I don't know. Maybe she guessed because he would go to his parents. That would be a natural thing, perhaps. Holy crap. Here's when he then explains his side of what happened that day with the Ring doorbell and all of that.
I need to get my mom tried to register my car, but she didn't drive it down there, so I had to go, because it was an out-of-state VIN. I can't register my car in my name right now because I don't have anything that tied me to here, which didn't do me good. But
I know that was a little hard to hear, but what he was saying is that he was trying to get his car registered in Utah, but it was hard because he didn't have an actual address where he was currently living, or a job, or what ties to tie him here directly. And so his mother was the one who needed to drive it down, blah, blah, blah. He's trying to be a law-abiding citizen, unlike some people. It's just saying.
So I was down there trying to get my car registered. I saw on my doorbell camera that it was her. And my mom's not tied into my doorbell camera, so she didn't know, so she answered the door. And I don't know, I didn't watch that part of the conversation, but as soon as I realized it was her, I got on the camera and I told her she needed to leave. It's private property, she's not allowed here. And I have it recorded, but it's about a 6-minute conversation. I just kept asking her to leave, telling her she's not allowed here, telling her she needs to leave, we're going to call the police. And finally she left. So that's the abbreviated version.
Were you able to see what vehicle she was in, or?
I think the camera probably got it because unless she parked this way and never drove past at all.
Okay.
Because my camera records, I pay for the fee to have it report after the shooting.
Okay.
Turn that in, but she drives a Kia Telluride. So
Kia Telluride.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what year?
He was talking about, that's what kind of car it was. Is a Telluride, and that comes in later because she has a Telluride. He says that he pays for the video to be saved from the ring doorbell. That he pays for it to be saved ever since the shooting. And I'm sorry, he looks spooked. He looks so spooked. I said that the ring doorbell probably caught the car driving, unless she never passed the house. And now that I've been there, I can say it's kind of like an backwards C with them. There's a main road, and so she could have come in one side and then gone back out the same direction and not passed the house potentially. We're going to go to the next clip where we see more of his straight up fear for his life because of her. And this is another piece of information I didn't know that shows what she's capable of. I'm sorry, but it's freaking terrifying, in my opinion.
Leaving Arizona, her and her uncle, who's the one that I believe shot at me, which we're not supposed to talk about, but they went and took the license plate off of her car and started driving to my friend's houses, and they forced their way into one of the houses.
Melanie with her uncle Alex, on their way to Idaho, presumably through Utah, I think he's what he's referring to, or unless it's still in Arizona at that point, took license plate, put it on an Audi, and drove that to a friend's house and then forced themselves in. She forced herself into this friend's house. So no wonder he's freaked, because what else is she capable of?
Didn't feel comfortable coming back home, knowing she was here, thinking he was here. That's why I called you guys. I was like, I don't feel like I can even drive up without, I don't have my gun on me. I left it inside. I thought I was okay. Stupid.
All right.
He was scared to come back from the DMV unless the cops were there, because he didn't know if Melanie or Alex would be there. And he didn't have his gun on him. This is a guy who I don't think he owned a gun or carried it with him up until this point, at least. Goodness freaking gracious, woman. Let's go to Melanie's stuff. So that night, she shows up. In between all of this, the police have called Melanie and told her, you are no longer welcome. That place you went earlier today, your in-laws' property, that is private property. They do not want you there. You are officially trespassed. You cannot come back to this property. And she said, I understand. So that happened in between. We'll hear about it, but just so it's clear, when she shows up, she knows she's not supposed to be there.
My kids have been held out of state.
You were also criminally trespassed over the phone by me. You were
I asked
warned.
an officer to come here last night to do a check-in because I'm worried they're in danger.
But you came over here after being told that you were criminally trespassed.
But I have an agreement saying that
from this residence, correct?
But my order says that it's my time with my kids. They're supposed to be in Arizona. My husband's kept them out of school.
You were trespassed from this location.
I just need my kids, and
No.
you're welcome to look at this order. They've been out of state, out of school, and my husband lied to everybody. I'm sure he lied to the cop last night. This is my
We've been in contact with...
Do you have a victim's advocate I can speak to in the police department, please?
Okay. Melanie, so where'd you get this order from?
So this is our mediation order.
Okay.
I also have another copy of the original copy of the court. This is my time with the kids. My husband's been hiding with them over a month out of state.
Yeah, we talked to you the other day, right?
Yes, so I asked for somebody to come in and check in on them to just make sure they're safe because...
Don't even, Melanie, don't even. She had been called. Do not come back. That's trespassing. She did anyway. And she thinks you can justify it because she has some papers from a mediation. No, that's not how this works.
Okay.
He's had them out of state, and he's been lying to... Everyone's protecting them. Like, I know they're nice. My in-laws are nice people, but they've been lied to, saying that there's a protection for a place to visit. My kids are... I'm worried they're in danger because my husband's been doing a lot of things that cause me to worry. He says he was shot at a month ago, and then he went into hiding, and no one in Arizona has...
She says he was shot at a month ago, and that's reason she should fear for her children's safety. Knowing what we all know now, the idea that she's using his claim of being shot at as evidence that he's the danger? Mel, no.
I've seen him for weeks or my children, and he kept them out for over a month with truant absences. I asked an officer to just come over here last night to just make sure they're safe. And he said, I can't do a welfare check or a wellness check.
So did
For
you
some
not hear
reason.
me when I was talking? We were talking to you on the phone the other day and said we came here because you were here. We came here. We checked on the kids. They were
Are you talking
okay.
about yesterday or
Yeah.
the day before?
Yeah, the day
I
before.
heard, and I had to call in because I didn't know if that was, I just heard something on speaker. I didn't hear everything. I heard that it wasn't super clear. And so I called in the next day and I said, can you, because I don't want to have to go over there again. Can you send an officer to come?
I don't want to have to go over there again. Yeah, you did. They told you not to. We'll take care of it, and you went over anyway.
But you came over here anyways when we told you that you were trespassed from the... It doesn't matter, right?
Well, my children are inside.
I understand that,
probably
right?
in danger.
They're probably in danger. You know that for sure. Like...
Well, I know what my ex is capable of, and he has a lot of evil people working with him. So I just want to.
I know what my ex is capable of, and he has a lot of evil people helping him. Mel, that's called projection. You're the evil one with evil people helping you, and you're the dangerous one. Not Brandon.
To make sure my kids were safe last night. And
So-
the officer.
So do you think
So I
this
need to
was
speak
the
to a
right...
victim's advocate.
Okay,
If
I'm
you
just... But you were trespassed, correct? You remember that on the phone?
I asked you if you understood. You said you did. So
Okay.
So you understand you're trespassed, right?
Yes, but I believe with my order, I can come and just get my. I'm not going in. I'm not going into the house.
Okay, just for if there's any confusion, trespassing doesn't mean barging into a house. It means entering the property. She knocked on the door. She yelled through the door. That's trespassing.
Coming in.
Trespass from the property. You being on the lawn right now is a violation of that trespass.
Well, I can get off.
Well, it doesn't really matter now.
I'm not trying to barge into their house to run and take my. I'm just trying to be peacefully, trying to do what's right and what's in my order.
Yeah, because she cares about the law. I'm not going to barge in there and take my kids. I just want to take my kids with the law legally. No, you're not.
It's the order from Arizona when
Yes,
you
it
were
is.
in there.
They're illegally out of state right now. Like he's keeping them out of school for over a month. I've been searching for them. I don't know what else to do. I asked someone to just come over and see if they're safe last night.
First time we see sad emotion. I just wanted someone to see if they were safe last night. And you got reassurance that they were safe.
Carlson probably scared him off, saying there's a protection order, and there's no protection order. We can go and look everything up right now.
Okay.
I haven't seen or talked to my kids. I have a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 9-year-old, and they haven't seen their mom for over.
Yeah, you had a 2, 4, 6, and 9-year-old that were labeled dark spirits, and dark spirits get killed by your aunt and your uncle. They're not safe with you, Melanie. Also pointing out that she says a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 6-year-old. Pause. And a 9-year-old. Did she forget the 9-year-old existed? She's not as concerned? Does she still think the 9-year-old is dark? Like, what?
My husband's been doing drugs, and he's.
Well,
Okay, my husband's been doing drugs.
this is probably not the best way to go about it, right? To come here and try to...
I tried asking if
You
an
know,
officer can just
I
make sure
understand
they're
that,
safe.
and we told you
But
they
I
were
was
safe,
told,
right?
I have this court order saying it's my time with the kids. If I know where they're at, I can go and get them.
No, so you can't come over here and forcefully take them, and we can't come over here and forcefully take them out,
because I know
right?
they've been lied to, saying there's
Okay,
a
well,
protection.
that's something that you're going to have to take up with the courts, right? Like we told you the other day, you're going to have to go to the
I don't know if they're
courts.
safe, and I feel like they're in danger.
We can go in there and check and see if they're safe.
She will not shut up. She keeps talking as they try to explain, yeah, but my kids, and yeah, but this, and yeah, but that. And they're like, finally, he's like, look, shut your face.
And then we can come back here and we can tell you they're safe. Stop talking, okay? We can go in there, check if they're safe, but we already trespassed you from this property saying you can't come back here. And you came back here. And it doesn't matter if you got this piece of paper. We told you not to come back here, and you come back here and you're upsetting everybody, and now it's just a whole freaking problem. So your whole thing is here is you want to come here and check if they're safe? You want a welfare check on them?
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Well, and it's my time limit.
Yeah, so that's another problem, right? So this is a whole civil problem. This is a whole thing, okay? Because even if you do come here with these papers and say, yep, it's my time, they're not giving them back to me, then the only thing you got to do is go to the courts and you got to say, hey, listen, if these are signed by a judge down there in the court or whatever, he can say, you know what, this is your time, let's get this back in court, let's have him come back to court, let's do this, then we can give you a report number, and we can stop talking, okay, I'm explaining some things, okay? Are you understanding what I'm saying?
I am, sir.
So this isn't the best way to go about things.
Yes, sir.
So now there's a bigger problem here because we trespassed you and you weren't supposed to be on here and you're causing alarm to them and everything like that. Who's your judge down there?
Listen to this. Nothing. No name. Silence.
You don't know your judge? Who signed your papers? Where'd you even get these papers from?
They were mailed to me.
They're mailed to me. So, red flags.
Was this done in mediation or in court? Because I don't see anything
It's a court-ordered.
I don't see anything signed by a judge.
I have the copy with more signatures if you need to see that. This was just.
I have a copy with more signatures if you need to see it. It's a mediation agreement. It's not a court order. Like, Melanie,
I was just bringing them to them because I know they've been.
This is a mediated settlement agreement, not a court order.
Yes, the court mediation was.
Well, if it was done
the court mediation
through mediation, it's not through the court. That just means that you guys sat down with the mediator, you agreed on something. This is not something that's been enforced by a judge.
It has, sir. I have the paperwork in the car.
So you guys went to court, you sat there with the judge, made a determination.
Let's grab that real quick so I can see what kind of judge that is.
I have is there a way, sir, for him to check, like with a picture or something, just to make sure it is the...
What, you don't believe us that we can go in there and check their well-being, or what?
No, sir, they have tons of cousins over probably, and I just want to make sure it's my kid.
We'll make sure. We're not here to lie to you or just make sure that your kids are not being taken.
This is another little great moment. My kid, she's so harping on it. My kids are probably in danger. And he's like getting clearly impatient with her, but she's, well, what if they're not safe? What if they're not safe? And he's like, well, we will make sure, but listen to this little bit.
Here, that's a huge deal to us, right?
I think you would lie to me. I just want to make sure.
Kids are, in the state of Utah, kids are a big deal. So, like, we take that thing seriously. So,
yeah, the land of Mormons, Latter-day Saints. Yeah, we have big families. Children are important to Utah. So, yeah.
If we're there to check out the kids' well-being, we're going to do that. We're not just going to tell you something that's not true, right?
And yes, granted, footnote, Ruby Frankie, Gavin Peterson, yes, there are problems. But this is not one of those cases, clearly.
Where'd you park?
I'm just right back here.
Behind the truck?
Yes, sir.
Is there anybody with you?
Yes, sir. Family member.
What's his name?
Alex Cox.
So, and this is the first time they're aware that anyone is with her. So we'll show you. I'll show you in a minute. But they actually had a cop go over there and like, hey, how are you doing? What's your name? Because they had to make sure that they weren't going to get surprised and jumped or whatever else. Especially, and it's important because now we know that Alex at this point had killed 4 people and tried to kill a 5th. So who knows what else he's willing to do at the drop of a hat. So the cops did approach him, very cheerful and upbeat, so he wouldn't be, on edge or defensive or whatever. Well, here's where then Melanie says that she's the one who feels unsafe. But notice where she claims that she lives.
I'm not safe in my home in Arizona.
You're not safe in your home in Arizona?
I'm not.
Her home where now? Arizona. He actually repeats it. You're not safe in your home in Arizona because he's heard from Brandon's mother and Brandon himself that they moved to Idaho.
And so I had to, I've just been looking for them. I don't know how to do, I felt like, it says in here to not go straight to file in court, says there's a process that we both agreed to go by. So we're supposed to contact each other first, and he hasn't been contacted.
So if you guys haven't been doing that, then you can skip
there's
that
a
step
whole
and go
order.
through
It
that.
So I was just trying to do things the right way. I don't want all this drama and just, he's tried to file something, what I heard, I don't know, because I couldn't be at my house because I didn't feel safe. He's had me followed, and I've tried.
Yes, he hired a PI, a private investigator, to make sure that he knew where Melanie and Alex and Lori were, because he had been shot at. Charles was dead because of these people. He was scared for his life. He's not stalking Melanie. He's trying to protect himself and his children. It just, the way she twists things. He had someone following me. Sort of.
So the proper thing to go about this is, you know, when all things else are failing, what you got to do is go to the court and you got to see a judge and you got to do the whole court stuff, right?
Yeah,
is that not making sense, or what do you want?
No, it's a long process. Like he's been hiding with them for a month.
That's right. But if they're hiding and you can't get in contact with them and you're doing all this stuff, then the next step is to go to court and do all that stuff, right?
I couldn't safely do that, and so I just.
She couldn't safely do that. Who's putting her life in jeopardy? Alex put Brandon's life in jeopardy. She put Brandon's life in jeopardy. She's safe.
You can't safely go to court.
No, I couldn't safely go to the resolution case hearing.
So then here's where she goes off on their agreement. The court ordered custody thing, which is not.
I go run away with the kids somewhere, and if they're in danger, so I don't know if I have this and it says it's my time with the kids. Like, how do
actually doesn't say in the court order that you guys have a set schedule. It says that you guys have worked through mediation.
We do. It's in here. It
says flexible parenting plan. That can be changed at any time. That's what it says in the court order.
We have set days, set weekends, and so we did set all of that.
It's like she doesn't listen to a thing they're saying. She's not replying to them. She's not responding to them. She just is blathering and will not shut up.
Maybe in mediation you did, but in the court order it doesn't specify a specific time frame or a set schedule. It says that you've agreed in mediation to a flexible parenting plan, which can change at any time. There's no set time
change at any
for
time.
parents.
What I'm telling you is that you need to go to the courts as soon as possible, and I know it might take a little bit of a time. It might take a little bit of time and stuff like that, but that's the best way.
Can I ask you something? If they go in there and they're not all in there, then what happens next?
We'll have to find out where they are. We'll have to check on them.
Right?
Yeah, that's why I said. Okay. That's why I said we checked on them and they were all good. But the problem is that you're coming here and you're causing alarm.
I'm not trying.
And when we told you you weren't allowed onto that property.
Right, but if I have this and they have
it doesn't matter when we trespass.
They have no right to my kids. That's the in-laws. They're not even with the husband. So is that an issue?
The husband's there. I talked to him.
He's there right now.
Yeah, I talked to him.
Brandon Boudreaux is there right now.
I don't know if he's there right now, but he's living there.
They're not the in-laws have no rights to the kids.
Okay, I'm not here to argue with you anymore.
I don't want to argue. I'm just trying to.
So what you asked me is what you need to do, and if everything's what you're saying is true.
So file kidnapping, that they're out of state with.
Would you just listen to him and talk? So what? File kidnapping? He didn't say that. Go through the courts and change the custody order, which you don't have. If we thought that one officer got annoyed.
I'm getting really pissed off right now that you're not listening to me and you're just talking over me. That is just really pissing me off. Do you want to listen to what I have to say, or do you want to just go your separate way and then we can just deal with you another day, I guess?
Sir. Sorry, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm just trying to understand it. I haven't seen my kids in a long time.
I understand that, and I know we deal with a lot of.
You keep saying that. We know. So do the right thing. We know the situation.
These things, and the problem is that
so far,
the problem is that our.
She's such a victim. She's done everything right.
Hands are kind of tied when it comes to civil papers like this and civil matters, right?
So how do we protect the kids?
So we can go in there and we can check their well-being and make sure they're okay and everything.
How do we protect the kids? We keep them away from Melanie and Lori and Alex. That's how we protect the kids and make sure they're okay.
Right now, you know for a fact there's tons of cousins over there. You can argue with me all day. You're not going to win. Okay?
We'd love to speak to victims out.
There's 4 children in there that are happy and healthy. Okay?
So,
2 of them are playing Fortnite, the other 2 are watching Frozen. Is there anything else you want to know? But the facts are is you can't even be here.
Word that it's not filed in court because I have legal documents saying that it was filed in court and signed by him, by the judge, by our mediator. So
where's it at?
It's right here.
Let me see it.
Show it to you.
It doesn't matter. I mean, again, still doesn't matter.
I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I'm just here.
I'm gonna do whatever I want.
I know.
Like, the facts are is that
I get it.
the facts are is that
Look,
like I'm not just gonna go in there and remove the kids from the home.
You do whatever you want. I don't.
You can fight, you can argue all night. You're not going to win. I love this officer.
There's a way to get a picture to just make sure that they're there and safe.
I'm not going to go in there and disturb them anymore, okay? They already don't want to see a cop.
Like seriously, cops on even the best day of work, they're seeing people who are on one of their worst days. These poor children have already been traumatized. Brandon's parents have been traumatized. Brandon's been traumatized. Let's not do that anymore. But Melanie doesn't care.
Okay? They don't want to see a cop.
If he kept to this order, we wouldn't be doing this.
All right, but I'm not going to go in there and stir things up even more.
I'm their mother, and I haven't talked to them for a month, and you won't even let me know for sure if they're safe.
I just let you know for sure they're safe.
I don't know if those are cousins over there.
Oh, there's nobody else in that house. There's nobody else in the house. So if you're...
So I love the fact that he's just laughing. He's like, we've been in there. We saw the children. There's no one else in there. But what if it's a bunch of cousins?
Telling me that you know for a fact there's 15 people in that house right now having some sort of family get together, you're out of your mind because there's not anybody else in that house. Nobody.
You're out of your mind. I'm like, yeah. Yes, she is. She is completely out of her mind. We know that, right? I don't think he meant it the way, like literally, but yeah.
And honestly, your best option right now is to probably just stay away from here. Because what's going to happen is you're going to end up in jail. At some point in time, we'll just end up taking you to jail.
Probably not before my ex-husband with everything he's doing. So.
Oh, them's fighting words, Val. Them's fighting words. Okay, so here is where we start seeing her lies that the cops, again, they've heard from multiple people. They've heard from Brandon's mother, from Brandon, and now from the Arizona police that she has moved from Arizona to Rexburg, Idaho. Let's let her tell the cops where she says she lives.
You live in?
I live in Chandler, Arizona.
When someone asks you where you live, do you answer defensively? In Chandler, Arizona. She's lying, obviously. We know that, but it's so obvious.
How long have you been out here for?
In Utah?
Yeah.
I came out here on Tuesday, and then I drove several hours away because I don't want to be around here, and I'm trying to just figure out the right thing to do.
We're several hours where? Where did you drive to?
Drove to Idaho and then back.
You literally drove to Idaho yesterday?
It was 4 or 5 hours.
And then back?
Yes, sir.
If you wanted to clear your head and get away from your ex, and you were in American Fork, Utah, you would drive south to, I don't know, Cedar City, St. George, where it's a whole lot warmer. You wouldn't drive north to cold Idaho, especially in November. You don't do that. That's, in fact, going from Utah to Idaho, there's some overpasses in Malad area that are actually quite dangerous, like that. And so he's like, went to Idaho and back, just like, cuz to not be around him. What? But notice what else she says here. She doesn't realize she dropped something.
I got my order and I came back because.
So she picked up her order. She got her order and came back. What was her order doing in Idaho if she lives in Chandler, Arizona? She didn't think that one through.
It legally says it's my time with the kids. And he's broken everything in here.
All
so
right.
you can look at this and say they're not to be removed from the state of Arizona or out of school, and they are.
I believe it.
He's broken everything. Okay, how many things have you broken? How many, I don't know, like wedding vows and religious vows and everything under the sun. Okay, so this is what I mentioned before. This cops goes when they realize that she's not alone and Alex Cox is there and they know who Alex is. They better go talk to him. So notice how cheerful the cop is, knowing he's speaking to a man who has murdered at least one person. Whether or not it was self-defense, at this point they know he shot Charles, at minimum.
Oh, where are we coming from?
Idaho.
Oh, Idaho. That's right.
He says, that's right. So yeah, where are you coming from? Arizona? No, Idaho. Oh yeah, that's right. Is this me, or is Alex like working really hard to look relaxed and comfortable? Hand on the steering wheel, but he's looking straight forward, not moving a muscle. If he can help it.
Do you live in Idaho?
Yeah, I just moved up there.
From where?
From Arizona.
Do you live in Idaho? Yeah, I just moved there from Arizona. So now Alex has confirmed, without him realizing it, what Brandon's mother, Brandon, and the Gilbert police have said. So Melanie is the only one lying at this point. So Melanie and Alex should have gotten their stories straight, but they're not that smart. Good.
Oh, what the heck?
Apparently that was too warm.
Idaho's a big change.
It's a good change. It's nice.
And there was Alex saying, trying to be the comedian, it's a good change. So after this whole thing happened, 45 minutes later, they have her come to the police station in American Fork because they realized they screwed up, and that actually, because this is a domestic situation, that escalates the crime, so they actually will have to arrest her tonight.
Okay, so things have changed a little bit. Okay. Definitely we made a mistake and didn't catch on until afterwards.
Okay.
Your criminal trespass is enhanced to domestic violence.
How does that work?
Because you were in a domestic relationship. You had, in-laws there. You trespassed. You entered the garage unlawfully. So we're actually going to be taking you into custody tonight.
Okay.
So I'm just going to need you to go ahead and stand up, face away from me, place your hands behind your back.
Do you want me to just leave?
You can just set that right there. We'll take everything with you.
Okay.
Is your uncle still out there?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. All right.
So do you have anything on you that would be considered illegal in a correctional facility? Drugs, knives, weapons?
Guns, knives, alcohol, drugs, anything like that?
I don't drink.
I'm gonna.
Okay. All right.
So we learned here, this is body cam footage came from KSL, which is an NBC affiliate in Utah. So the end of the body cam footage said that Melanie Pulowski, I think actually at this point she was still Boudreaux. She hadn't married Ian yet. She pled no contest and avoided prison time in 2020. Again, this is November of 2019. She was in jail for 5 days. I thought she got out the same day or the same night. That was brand new information, as was to me that she was later charged in Arizona with computer tampering. And that sounds like it is likely related to when Melanie was saying that, accusing Brandon of hacking Lori's computer. I'm betting that she herself did some hacking or something, whether it was Lori's or Brandon's or Charles's or something. Enlighten me, because that was new information to me. A couple other little pictures I wanted to show from that night, which I find interesting. This is a beautiful photograph of the moment where she is cuffed. Just a little bit of schadenfreude there. This is a picture of her cuffed outside the police station. So this is the same picture of that intersection, taken from the video of where she's standing outside cuffed. The traffic light right there. Since I am familiar with this area, I can show you. So there's the traffic light right there. That traffic light that's how I know which direction we're facing. So that basically that north and south is what we're looking at right there. North on the left, as south is to the right, and we're facing east. If it was daytime, you could see mountains right straight ahead. Now, on the other side of the police station, which is the little arrow there, you would see a Presbyterian church, and that is actually the church that was used to film in Footloose. And if you go maybe another couple hundred feet or so, again, farther south, then you'd come across the Alpine Tabernacle, which you can see in all kinds of things, including it's in one of the opening shots of Under the Banner of Heaven. So this is right downtown, right next to like Main Street and grocery stores and the library and all of that in American Fork. So that's not at all disturbing, that to think that she was just right down in the middle of downtown at night. And yeah, it also killed me when she's so freaked out. And one of the cops was asking her to describe her children. And she said, well, you don't know what their pictures look like. And he said, I don't know what their pictures look like. Which is a weird thing to say. Like, you would think that you don't know what my children look like. Let me show you pictures. Do you have pictures? Not what my children's pictures look like. Now, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that feels almost like she's put a distance between her and her own children. Like they're not quite as hers, or as they don't matter as much. Almost a dehumanization, because yeah, they were listed as demons, as zombies. So, yeah, so I'm hoping that something ends up happening with Melanie, because criminy woman, she's messed up. And as you can tell, if you go back and watch Brandon's mother and then him, his mother is holding it together as a mom. He is just broken. He looks like a little 7-year-old who has been just beat up. I mean, he looks scared and worried, and then she's just arrogant and obnoxious and, just in your face, adversarial, and then the cops know what's actually going on, at least on some level. They had no idea that Tammy was murdered. They don't know that Tylee and JJ were murdered, but they know there's a lot more than a father supposedly kidnapping his children and doing drugs. What? No. I'm glad the cops could see right through it. They handled her well, even if they got impatient at times. But dang. So those are the highlights for me from the body cam. Let me know what you think. If you haven't yet liked the video, that helps the algorithm, all that stuff, as well as leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Melanie, and do you think she'll be charged? I really hope so. What are the odds, do you think? Cross some fingers there. If you don't have a direct comment, leave some chocolate emojis or your comfort food of choice. Be sure to subscribe and all that good stuff. And until next time, I'm going to go get myself some chocolate, and I suggest that you do too.